If you have somebody pouring, negativity into your cup, you're going to be addicted to that. What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you guys, the Elite State of Mind podcast. As always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Jesse, how you doing today, man?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Family, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram page. Make sure you hit that little bell on YouTube so that you are notified every Wednesday morning as Jesse and I go with you guys on your way to work. What we're going to get into today, the perfect pour. Do we pour into others because we are afraid to pour into ourselves? I believe the answer to that question has to be a definitive yes. And the reason being because it's always easy for me to give world-class advice as long as I don't have to go do nothing with it.
Okay, I see where you're going. Okay.
When you thought about this subject, when you brought it up, what was on your mind, the perfect pour?
Kind of the same thing, same concept you're talking about. Man, it's easy for us to give the advice. It's hard for us to pour it in our own cup and sip from that cup, right?
And that's the toughest part is always, man, again, I can accumulate all types of knowledge. I can be a wellspring of knowledge and just be running around pouring into, all of these individuals. But then when it comes to myself, I have to get over my own fear to take some action.
Yes.
So therefore, no, I don't want to tell myself I'm amazing. I don't want to tell myself what I can accomplish because then I might pump myself up enough to go do something.
Right.
I might go and start a new business.
Yes.
I might go try to get healthy. I might just be crazy enough to go join the gym, to quit my 9 to 5.
Yep.
And then the next thing you know, now I'm out here in the middle of the ocean and got no choice but to try to swim.
Right.
So that's for me, that's why I say it's easier, for us to pour into somebody else than it is ourselves. What is your stance?
I agree. It is easier, but I think as we progress, as we grow, we understand that I can't pour from an empty vessel. So it works in a fashion that if I'm able to pour into someone else, then hopefully I have somebody inside of my circle who is able to pour into me as well. Many times we'll do all the pouring, but then we don't have anything to give. So, our dreams and aspirations and our goals, they go to the wayside because we have nothing more to give.
Very, very true. And I think, the problem is because sometimes I will only get, this one vessel of knowledge. And then after I poured it, it's empty.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything left.
Yeah.
But you might need that and maybe another step. But like you said, now I'm empty and I ain't got nothing else for you.
Right.
The other thing that I think happens with us is that, why I say we pour into others before or without pouring into ourselves is I'm not afraid to send you into the unknown.
Right.
I'm definitely not afraid to send you into battle.
Right.
Hey, man, the enemy is over there. Here's your rifle. Yep. There's none like it. Now, after you have overtaken the enemy, come report back, and I'll come take all the glory.
And here's what's crazy. A lot of times we give that advice, and we'll give it so well that the individual will go and do the thing.
And overtake the enemy.
And you're sitting back here like, well, I'll be okay. Good job. I know you can do it.
And that's the crazy part. How many times have you sat down with somebody? Have you mentored somebody? Have you, talked to somebody through their fears, through their withdrawals? And the next thing you know, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years, 4 years later, they're successful and running on.
Yes.
With whatever it is you poured into them.
Yes.
Because like you said, the advice you gave, the plan you laid out was so fantastic.
Yeah.
They went and got their success.
I mean, I think it was just, many times it's just filled with the elements that are necessary for the action steps to be completed. So when we're speaking things that are faith-filled for them. That these action steps, it allows them to believe at a higher level than what they're accustomed to. Right? I think that's the key to inspiration. Everybody likes to be motivated, but it takes a special mix of things for inspiration to take place. So when you're inspired to do something, when motivation wanes, you're still going to go ahead because you remember the word which you received from, mentor or something of that nature. And you're holding fast to that thing. So no matter what comes your way, I'm going to go ahead and get it done. Kev said I could do it. I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. I'm tired, but he said I can do it.
Right.
When that happens, that means they're believing more in what you told them than what they thought, what they feel, what they failed. They're believing more on that word.
So let me pose this question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that we have the tools, we have the knowledge to pour into somebody else, to lay out the plan for them to believe so strongly in this,
Yes,
but we don't for ourselves?
I think that is the question of a lifetime.
Maybe let me rephrase it like this. Why can I be so adept to speaking the language somebody else needs to hear, but not speaking the language Kevin needs to hear?
Okay. That's because we'll study the language of others. What can get them to move?
Okay.
What can get them to believe? What can get them to be strong again? We won't study the language that we need in order to get ourselves up and going and actually moving and actually doing what we say that we're going to do. So I think that is the major problem. Understanding, in our journey of self-discovery, what language do I need to uproot and what new language do I need to plant in order to get to the place that I know I'm supposed to be?
So we need to see what kind of seeds we're planting.
Oh, for sure.
In our mind.
For sure.
And that brings us to, you got to be careful what you pour. As both of us having, children and, now in dealing with them, we don't deal with them, maybe in some of the ways we were dealt with,
right.
As children.
Right.
To be more encouraging, to make sure that we tell them all the things that they can accomplish.
Right.
Maybe to not be as harsh in some areas where it's not as necessary.
Right.
So therefore we can pour, good things into them. It's just like when you make that decision.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget being at UCO and, them 2 weeks I was up there. I was actually there for a whole year, y'all. Don't talk too bad about me. But, being there, we would go to the caf and we would eat. And you had a decision to make.
Yes.
Now you could drink that Fresca and the water.
Okay.
And normally, the heat wouldn't bother you too bad.
All right.
Or you could get that crisp strawberry Fanta. And boy, halfway through practice, you be grabbing
Shots
your
fired.
hamstring, calf,
Man down,
cramping up, because I poured the wrong thing into my glass. Why don't we learn the lesson of being careful? I know this Fanta, I don't need it. I know I shouldn't gamble away this money. I know I should invest it.
Oh my gosh.
I know I should get me an overnight job.
Yeah.
I know I should, get around better people.
Listen.
But I'm not concerned about what I'm pouring into the cup.
Man, I think it speaks to the level of our humanness. Oh man, we like what I like, and we like to feed that versus feeding the place of discipline, feeding the place of righteousness, feeding the place of self-development. Man, I shouldn't drink that Fanta, but that thing sure is red. Man.
It was so cool and crisp and tasty. It was the best Fanta I'd ever had in my life.
Yep.
But it was always taking folks down. And then when everybody started drinking the Fresca, they wasn't cramping as much.
You're making it.
And that's the thing. I believe it becomes an addiction if you keep drinking out the bad cup.
Yes.
If you keep drinking out the cup with the Fanta in it, you become addicted to it.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody pouring, negativity into your cup, you're gonna be addicted to that.
Stay there.
And the tough thing is then what do we do to break it? What do we do to get away? Because as we know that chemical reaction that it has, and then we just become so comfortable.
Yes.
In hearing the negativity and getting told what you're not and getting told what you can't achieve and getting told you shouldn't do that. Be happy for the crumbs you're provided.
Right.
All I want now is negativity because anything that's positive man, I don't want that thing anywhere near me. If you offer me a glass of water, I feel like you've cussed me out and slapped my grandma in the face.
Pretty much, right? It takes the effort, man. It takes effort to go from a place of negativity to positivity.
Intentional.
But yeah, it's intentional because, like you said, initially it doesn't taste well. It's not what I desire because I've been feeding myself this overload of sugar and dyes, and the red Fanta is good to me not because I taste it first, but because I see it first.
Right.
Right? And so then the chemical reaction is because I see it, I begin to salivate, and then, from my brain to my stomach comes back and says, we want that.
I need it.
I got to have it.
Every day.
Right? So at some point in time, we have to rewire what's being said internally.
That's you gotta as you and I both have been reading the book The Language of Thought. I think that has that's a thing that in that journey of self-development, in pouring into yourself, you have to change the language of your thought and begin to have a definiteness of purpose. Now, one thing that I will say about that definiteness of purpose, it can be positive or negative.
Oh yeah.
And so whatever you line it out and choose it to be, you're more than likely going to achieve it.
Man, that's the point. You have to choose what it's going to be, right? As we're moving along, this thing called life, we're learning that it's the choice that is the most powerful thing. You outlined in the story earlier about, after practice going to the calf. You had a choice to make. And what was so crazy, you had to come back again later on. You had the same choice to make, and, the success or the failure was on the precipice of that choice. Which one is it going to be, Fresca or the enjoyment? The water or the cramp later? Which one? And these things, they cycle, right? And the book is talking about that. These choices become habits, and these habits become the lifestyle, and the lifestyle becomes the result, whether it's going to be positive or negative. We got to choose. The
big thing that, I really feel affects that is obviously the people around you, but as Napoleon Hill writes in Think and Grow Rich, is your mastermind group. And until, and this is something that you and I, have really been, finding out. I believe it's become real to us.
Yes.
It has manifested itself in the material world to us here over these last few months.
Yes.
Is once your mastermind group, gets on the wavelength, once you get around somebody who is operating at a 10 to 15, and they're pulling you up from a 5 to a 7, 8.
Yeah.
Then it becomes real. And what the mastermind group does, family, it allows you to be around like-minded individuals, people that are wanting to achieve, similar goals that you have. And then it allows, that inspiration, as you were talking about.
Yes.
It allows that plan, that vision that you need to have to come to fruition a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because now all you're hearing is, if you invest your money here, you can make some money.
Yep. If you invest your time here, your health is going to improve.
If you will set your budget as so, you won't be surprised when XYZ happens.
That's right.
But if I never go to seek out a mastermind group, if I never, go to get around people that can pour into me,
right,
I'll never change where I'm at in life.
Yep.
But so often we're afraid to leave the homies behind.
Right. Afraid to be challenged.
To leave that relationship. I can remember. Who I was listening to E.T. earlier, and he was like, man, y'all are afraid to leave these friendships and relationships, but you know the outcome. You know it ain't no good.
Right.
You know it should be over.
It's just familiar to you. Right? It's just a level of comfort is there. Right? Like, the fried chicken and sweet potato pie ain't going to do you right, but it's over a lifetime. Right, it has the memories behind it.
That comfort and complacency.
Right. So one more time for the one time.
Dream killers, man.
Yes.
Dream killers, because then you look up and you're almost 60.
Yeah.
And now you want to be an entrepreneur. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying that you can't go start your business in. I'm not saying you can't go get your PhD at 60.
You definitely can.
But all I'm saying is now, you would know more of this than I do. Modern science, I believe, says the average age we lived about 70, 75.
Right now, because we ain't living right. Let's just call a spade, right? Too many processed food, too much sugary drinks, not enough water. We're so dehydrated, it's ridiculous as a whole. All right? So how can you get all the years when you're doing the things that will take the years away?
And then once you finally do come to the knowledge, once you finally do start pouring in these other things, but how much time did you waste?
Man, too much. Like, I feel that way now.
Yeah.
And I'm just not reaching 40. Like, how many years wasted just trying to figure out? I think that's the power of, mastermind group and mentorship, right? It allows you to regain some time, but...
that restoration is key.
Man, it's
got
huge.
to restore what the cankerworm ate.
It's huge.
What the caterpillar ate.
That's right. It's huge, man. So we cannot put enough emphasis on try it. Just try it. Try to put yourself around individuals who are doing more than what you're doing. And whatever endeavor that you want to do, if it's to, like you said, go get the PhD, you need to be in those circles.
Right.
Even though you're not there yet, you need to seek that out. Hey, how can I get to where you are?
Right.
Right? If you trying to regain some health and increase your fitness, well, I suggest you go to the gym and look at the individuals who are in shape and hey man, hey ma'am, what's going on? I need to train with you. I'm trying to figure this thing out.
What must I do?
What must I do
to be saved?
I feel like when you get to that point, when you're looking around at yourself and you're saying, man, this is not it. I know I was made for more. There's more to this thing called life, and I'm going to get it. What must I do to get over these humps?
Because then you put down the Fanta and you pick up the gallon of water.
Yeah. You'll do whatever it takes, whatever is necessary, and you ain't worried about what somebody has to say. You're not worried about, well, how this is going to make me look. You don't care.
Right.
You're like the woman with the issue of blood. I'm just trying to get there, get out of the way.
I just got to touch the hem of the garment.
Pretty much.
But so often, there's somebody standing down there with whatever it is you need.
For sure.
Whether it's financial literacy,
yes,
a plan to build business, genuine friendship, genuine love, knowledge about health, and they want to pour into you. And that's the thing. Most successful people, they want to pour into others.
They're looking for individuals to pour into.
But we are so bound by fear,
pride, ego,
that we won't go talk to the millionaire next door.
Just won't ask, right? Just won't ask. We have not because we ask not. It's a very simple concept, but as you stated, we're wrapped in fear. We're wrapped in fear. We're wrapped in, oh man, they're gonna think that I don't know, and that's the best place to be.
Is don't know.
Is don't know.
Hey, because now you're a blank slate. You're a clean canvas.
Yeah.
And you don't think that it has to be done this way, which is normally wrong.
Right.
But no, I want to do some research.
Well, hey, the beauty of mentorship and mastermind group is that the research has already been done, both by book and also just by life experience, on the job experience.
They've done some field study.
Yeah, they got a lot of field study going on. That's some of the best data that you can ever have.
Right.
We know in the weight room because of the actual work that's been done in the weight room.
Right.
From our own experience, from the people that we've trained, and from other trainers that we get to collab with. We know what works and what doesn't because of the actual. We're not knocking the book, right? Because of what we did there, I was able to help write the book. But it's the doing. It's the doing. It's the mentor. It's the guy that 70-year-olds talking about, hey, Jay, come over here. Let me show you how to do this.
But we want to cap what they pour into us.
Yeah.
You got a whole gallon that needs to be filled. Nah, just give me a fourth.
Yeah. Yep.
You out here paying for 1 gallon of gas. Just fill up your tank. Your car runs better on the full tank, don't it?
Yeah, it does. You feel better about it too, don't you?
Trust it.
Yeah.
You can go a few more places on a full tank. But so often I don't want to allow people to pour as much into me because now there's an expectation.
Right.
If you filled up my gallon with your knowledge, with your time, with your effort, with your money, if you filled it up, now there's an expectation for you to do something with that.
You have to. You have to. I think that should bother us. Right? Maybe we're just in that place right now, but I just feel like that should bother us as individuals, as men. Like, we have to use what we have.
Right.
We should be grasping for, to become the best that we can. I think that's our charge.
It is.
Part of our charge here on this life is to become. I think Bishop Jake said it best. The Creator created the tree. Put it where we could see it. Now, what we make from it is up to us. You want a table? Make one. You need a chair? Make one of those.
Need a bed?
Make one.
Bed. You need a house?
Build one.
Build a house. But like you said before, it takes time, effort, energy. Because I have the knowledge of, I was told by the carpenter. I went to the carpenter.
Right.
He said, oh, man, you want to build a bed? Man, you need to get some 2x4s. You need to cut the wood like this. You need to do this. You need to go down there and see the guy that does iron, get some screws.
Yep.
And, man, here are the instructions to build a bed.
There you go.
Like you said, now I have all the tools. But I won't apply the knowledge.
That's the worst thing ever, in my opinion.
It is. We have a fear of being great. We have a fear of success. Everybody talks about, man, I want to be successful. Man, I want to do this. I want to achieve this.
Right.
But once you come to the knowledge, now the only question is, when are you going to start applying? Once somebody has taken the time to pour into you, or once you've begun to pour into yourself,
Right.
I can read Napoleon Hill from now till the day I die.
Right.
Probably will. Love his books.
Right.
Great stuff.
Yeah, very good.
But if I never apply anything and somebody only reads this once and then goes and applies everything in it, I promise you they'll be more successful than me.
Yes, for sure.
Because it's the application of knowledge. And now, because they're putting out that energy, people can't help but pour into them even more.
Facts. He even says that in his books, on all of them. Don't just read this book. Apply it. Come back, read again. Apply another section. Come back, read, and apply another one. And then, let's see.
How do we take the step? The overcoming that fear first. Once you poured into me, I read the Think and Grow Rich. How do we take the step in applying the knowledge?
Just know you have nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. If you are fortunate enough to have someone pour into you and you take the steps and they don't work, you're not any worse off
than you were before.
But on the off chance,
on the off chance
that they pour into you and you actually do what they instruct you to do and it actually works, what then?
Well, now you're probably going to have a better life.
I'm pretty sure that you will.
You won't be living paycheck to paycheck.
No.
You won't go to the grocery store and, oh, man, I need to put back this bread and get these diapers.
Yep.
You won't have, concern over things that are basic necessities of life that many of us have concern over.
Right. Right.
Can I pay my rent this month? Can I pay it on time? Yeah. Can I pay my car insurance? Or do I just roll around till I get pulled over for not having no insurance?
Right. Yeah.
Taking those action steps, following the instructions. It's like, when I bought my grill, it came with instructions on how to be put together.
Right.
If not, it's just in the box.
Yeah.
And I don't get to use it. I don't get to smoke any ribs, brisket, pork shoulder, make myself hungry.
Right. Just stop it.
But I don't get to do any of those things if I don't take out the instructions.
Right.
Or, even me, I don't even look at the instructions until I get to a part I don't know what I'm doing. And just get to screwing stuff together.
Right. Right. Action steps.
And that's the hardest part.
Yeah, you gotta try. You have to try.
And for us, it's because we've seen so many people not take the action steps. And it wasn't until we got around somebody who said, no, y'all, I did that thing.
Yeah.
And it worked out for me.
Yes. Yes.
And it worked out well. And it keeps working out.
Yeah.
Then do you say, okay, I will no longer wander in the wilderness.
Oh, let me just try it.
I won't be sad that I'm not in bondage anymore.
What? What?
I'm going to be free indeed. Why do you think it's easy to pour into somebody when you know where it's going?
Well, I think that's just part of the gifting, part of the nuance of doing so. because you believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you're pouring into somebody, you're believing in the word, the structure, the concept, the theory of what it is that you're sharing with them. And so because you believe is I believe, no pun intended, is the most powerful thing that we have. I think that's one of the main things that we're instructed to do is to believe.
Right.
And we struggle with the issue of believing in ourselves.
Right.
Right? We struggle with that. It's easy for us to say, hey, Kev, I know you're finna go do it. This is how you do it because, hey, I've been through this.
Right.
But it's hard for me to point to myself in an area that I have not or I'm not familiar in. Right? My weak point, it's difficult. It's a little shaky for me to go ahead and do that. But as we progress, if we really take inventory of the successes of the individuals that we poured into, then we should really know, hey, man, I have a positive history.
Right.
I need to go ahead and take those steps.
Again, like you said, if I've seen other people take my advice, take my plans, take my, whatever it may be, I poured into them and they went and they were successful.
Yes.
Obviously, it works out.
Obviously.
I need to go do that for myself.
Yes.
I need to stop, only being able to celebrate other people.
That's right.
And start being able to celebrate me.
That's right.
But family, one thing I do want to tell you guys is you got to be careful where you pour.
Mm-hmm.
Because so often you can pour into some things that you shouldn't be. You can be pouring into some vessels that aren't going to retain what you're pouring.
Right.
You'll be putting salt in places you need to be putting sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You'll be putting water in places you need to put oil.
Right.
You need to be careful where you pour because there's a danger in pouring into the wrong places, in mixing the wrong chemicals, in pouring into the wrong people. Some people aren't ready for you to pour into them.
Not at all. Not at all. They only want just enough to put the facade up that, they retain said information.
Charlatans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh-oh.
Pretty much.
Stop being a charlatan.
That takes some growth too. That's for another one.
You're right. You're right. It's but I think what happens is when these people that when they put that facade up, like you said, it makes us feel good that we have what we thought was help somebody. But then because they didn't do, they did step 1 and 2.
They did do all they were
but they
instructed.
didn't do 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Oh,
right.
I know. I got them to do 1 and 2. I can get them to do 3, 4, and 5. And now you look up and 10 years later, you have expended energy, effort, and time into somebody who's never wanted your help in the first place.
No.
And that's not always a bad thing that they didn't want your help. It just means you need to understand when somebody don't want you, when somebody doesn't want your help, when they don't want your advice, when they don't want your plan.
Right. Right.
And learn to say, oh, that's okay.
Yep.
Because first I'll go do it for myself. And I will go find somebody who wants to be on this plan, who wants to be on this team.
That's right.
You may not like our team colors. You may not like that we run the West Coast offense.
That's okay.
Somebody does.
Right.
But you bums want to hold on to the 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
You want the triple option.
Man, get that old Nebraska football out of here.
Yeah, sorry.
Jesse, before we get out of here, what is going to be probably the most gratifying thing when the family starts pouring into themselves?
I think the confidence level that they will receive is going to be life-changing. To know that you can, not just know, but to have an unwavering belief that there is not anything that you can't do. It's life-changing.
It is, and family, like you said, that unwavering belief. But I also think when you begin to pour into yourself, you're going to view yourself in a totally different manner. You're going to have a superhero transformation. You can be, even though I don't like that guy, you're going to be Clark Kent, but glasses off.
Let's go.
Totally new guy, right? Totally, when he's got the glasses on, they think he's just a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
That can't write a good story. But when he takes the glasses off, they feel like he can save the world.
Yep.
And so does he. He changes himself.
He changes himself, yes.
You look at Batman, the best superhero ever. Obviously, as he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, he come off as arrogant, you know, a playboy, somebody who cares nothing about Gotham.
Right.
But once he puts on the cape and cowl, he'll give everything he can to save his city.
That effort, man.
So, family, you got to save yourself.
Man.
Pour into yourself.
Yes.
Save yourself.
Yes.
Because you can do it. You have the ability.
Yep. You have the tools
to pour into you and save yourself. It just takes a little action. Family, we sure appreciate you guys for tuning in with us today. Make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our Apple Podcast and Spotify. As always, family, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. We'll talk to you guys later.